Hare Krishna. Um, would somebody like to lead the invocation prayers? All of you should learn to lead the invocation prayers. Can somebody lead prayers now? Somebody can just follow from Bhagavad Gita introduction. All of you should take turns. Somebody wants to lead now. Many of you are capable of leading the prayers.
Prabhuji, I can.
Go ahead.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutpada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपीश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Super, excellent. Thank you. So everybody should try to recite invocation prayers one after the other. As some of you heard the class recording on Srimad Bhagavatam from the other batch, where everybody has also learned this and they are following to recite the prayers. Okay, thank you. So today, I will first answer inquiries submitted by devotees from the previous class, and I will also bring up on screen the striking points that the devotees submitted. And next, we will cover Nectar of Instruction, text number 1. And as usual, towards the end of the class, I will provide spiritual endeavor for you all to endeavor to continue to provide one or more striking points or at least one inquiry on the Google form. So I will bring up on screen now the inquiries. Question number 1. When was this Nectar of Instruction book written? So Nectar of Instruction in English was translated by Srila Prabhupada sometime in September of 1975. So if you look at the initial pages of Nectar of Instruction, shows the date. The Upadeshamrit, meaning the Sanskrit, the original Nectar of Instruction in Sanskrit, that will be some 400, 500 years ago when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was physically present and all these Acharyas, the Goswamis, including Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, were his direct disciples. So that would be quite far away in past. Question number 2, 3, and 4, we will discuss together. Question number 2 is, why are we not studying Srila Rupa Goswami's Guru's, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's 8 verses known as Sikshashtakam first before nectar of instruction? Then question number 3 says, what are the 8 verses of Sikshashtakam that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has left behind? Are they the same as nectar of instruction or different? And question number 4 is, why did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leave behind only 8 verses known as Sikshashtakam? So all are related questions to Sikshashtakam. Therefore, I will discuss all of them together. So there is a progression to follow. First, we have to study the 4 books, the basic books of Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Shishopanishad. Then we go to Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. These Sri Shikshashtakam verses are placed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The 8 verses of Sikshashtakam, which I have on the screen, both in Sanskrit and in English, they are different than the nectar of instruction 11 verses. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the teacher. It is for the teacher to decide what the students should learn. Therefore, there are these 8 verses. Now, there are other teachings in the conversation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the Goswamis, as well as from the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verses 76 and 77, that it is rare for the Lord to appear and is even more rare for the Lord to speak philosophy directly. Therefore, Sanjaya is thrilled to be able to get the mercy to hear the Bhagavad Gita conversation that happened between Krishna and Arjuna. Does that answer all these 3 questions, number 2, 3, and 4? Silence, I got silence.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
Mhm. Question number 5. How to ask good short pointed questions just like Arjuna. So at the start of our Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, with the open-ended question that I had asked, is question important? Is answer important? We have discussed that it is because of my bodily attachment, I like to hear my own voice more and more. Therefore, in my inquiry, I go on and on and on and on, talking about talking and talking and talking. So to ask inquiries in brief, try to drop off background detail and practice to phrase your question in 16 words or less. So it's a practice. Every time you ask a question about how, it's a practice. You have to do that practice. Those of you who are in and around Toronto, at the Toronto Temple, have a quick chat with His Grace Dharma Prana Prabhu. So it's very easy to identify Dharma Prana Prabhu. He lives in the temple, ashram, and he's handicapped. Generally, the first person always before 4 a.m. in the temple room. So when you speak to His Grace Dharma Prana Prabhu, to see how he only speaks few words to get his message across. So he had a stroke many years ago, which affected his speech. Therefore, he is only able to speak few words. Therefore, go and sit and talk to him. And then compare that. We all like to talk and talk and talk and talk because I am at bodily level of consciousness. While His Grace Dharma Prana Prabhu is a pure devotee. He doesn't waste time. He only speaks few words. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Only Sumnima seems to be listening with rapt attention. Thank you. Everybody should participate. Question number 6. How to practice positive curiosity? For a neophyte devotee who has been conditioned only to be answerable and never to question anything, just accept things as they are. So we have discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 and 17, the discussion on faith, that all of us are born with certain faith. Now our classes have a lot of opportunities for open-ended questions. So just keep asking any and all questions. We'll discuss question number 7 and 8 also together. Question number 7 says, how to know more about the 6 Goswamis to be able to really connect with what they have given us? And question number 8 says, can you please provide more insight into the 6 Goswamis, Srila Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunatha, Shri Jiva, Gopal Bhatta, and Dasa Raghunatha? So there are a lot of details available about the 6 Goswamis. My recommendation is for you to first know Srila Prabhupada quite well. Read Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita first. Complete ISKCON Disciple course. And you will know a lot more about Srila Prabhupada and the mood of Srila Prabhupada. And then later, you can consider to read more about the 6 Goswamis. So follow in the sequence that we should not go beyond our spiritual masters, at least we should first read these scriptures that our spiritual master have given us. So if you have a living spiritual master, read your living spiritual master's scriptures. Of course, Srila Prabhupada is always going to be our spiritual master, whether or not you have a living spiritual master. And even after having a living spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada is always going to be our living spiritual master. So read Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita. See the troubles that he went through for all of us. You will get attached to Srila Prabhupada. Complete ISKCON Disciple course. So the question says, how do we connect to the 6 Goswamis? Well, first connect to Srila Prabhupada. That's my recommendation first. Does that answer the inquiries?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. So next question, number 9. If there is proper literature handed down over the years through the parampara, are there any places that offer a degree in these literatures? So Mayapur ISKCON conducts a lot of official degree and postgraduate courses on Srila Prabhupada's scriptures. So I have a Bhakti Shastri degree from ISKCON where I have studied Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, and Sri Upanishad. So I have actually a degree. It's called the Bhakti Shastri degree. And right now I am currently pursuing the next level, the postgraduate level, which is the Srimad Bhagavatam Bhakti Vaibhav course, which covers up to canto number 6. So it's an ongoing degree course that I study. Now there are few others giving such degree certificates. So there is one in Vrindavan, is called Vrindavan Institute Higher Education. Then there is one around Mumbai. It's called Eco Village. There is another devotee, His Grace Gadadhar Das, he does. Then there is Radha Desh in Belgium. Then my spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshikadas Adhikari, also runs these courses. And there are few other. I'm only giving you few examples. So all of you should have a goal to get the Bhakti Shastri degree and take ownership of this philosophy. So few devotees from our batches, across all batches, they are right now enrolled in the Bhakti Shastri courses. Some have completed and some are enrolled in Bhagavatam. So you all also should have this goal in your mind to join the Bhakti Shastri and complete the Bhakti Shastri course. So after we complete Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, and Sri Upanishad in our classes, it will become very easy for all of you to complete this Bhakti Shastri course. Otherwise, the courses are pretty intense. And tomorrow, 3rd of February 2025, just very timely to this question, what you have on the screen. In Vrindavan, the Bhakti Vedanta University is starting. This is the first university that ISKCON is starting just tomorrow. The inauguration is tomorrow, and you have the schedule and everything, where, of course, everything is conducted under Srila Prabhupada, and for this one, it's His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami. So you have this image on the screen, which is a famous Indian movie star, Hema Malini. So Hema Malini is actually an initiated devotee in ISKCON. She is a devotee of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, as well as she is also a minister from Mathura. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Last question for today. What are the instructions of Upadeshamrit? Mind and sense control, attitude, the 6 items to avoid in text number 2, then 6 favorable items for bhakti to engage in text number 3, simple living and high thinking, avoid materialistic association by associating with like-minded devotees, associate with devotees according to their levels of Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttamadhikari levels. The 6 loving exchanges among like-minded devotees in text number 4. And the ultimate Upadesh of Upadeshamrit, meaning the ultimate instruction of Nectar of Instruction, is in text number 8. Text number 8 ends with Iti Upadesh Saram, means the essence of all instruction is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Plus, as part of the last text of Nectar of Instruction, we will also discuss what to do and what not to do when you visit holy dham such as Vrindavan, Mayapur, Dwarka, etc. Does that answer the inquiry?
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you.
All right. I will now bring up on screen the striking points that the devotees have submitted. So we have two slides. This is slide number 1. Take a snapshot. And here is slide number 2. So I want somebody to read the last bullet point, and I will discuss the next point for this. Somebody wants to read bullet point number 15 from the screen?
Hare Krishna. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot progress on the path of spirituality.
Attitude. So we discussed in Nectar of Instruction preface that attitude is very important. So I have a question for all of you. So last class, I requested all of you to connect with me to get either the Srimad Bhagavatam class recording from previous class on creation to understand how our mind and senses are made literally out of ignorance. Our entire body is largely out of ignorance. Or you can get a Srila Prabhupada lecture based on what you choose. Now, some of you never connected with me. So I have a question for all of you, that if you send a message to someone, like you write a message, email or WhatsApp message, and the person does not respond, what does that mean? Everybody, please answer.
We will feel very bad, Prabhuji. In
Okay.
fact, we will feel insulted.
Okay. Rest of you, everybody, please answer. So if you are sending a message to somebody and that somebody does not respond, what will you do? What's your feeling? Everybody?
That means I would assume as the person is not interested in what I'm saying.
Okay, very good.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, and the person is not interested.
Okay. Rest of you?
I might take a different philosophy. I might think that, the person has something very pressing going on, and I might ask them, I did not see that you did this. Is something going on that is preventing you from doing this?
Yeah, but even if something is pressing going on in the receiver's life, how will I know? The sender, how will I as a sender know? So should the receiver send a message that, okay, I know you said so and so, but I am swamped, therefore I am not doing. Is that possible, or should that be a case or not?
Yes, you're right. That should be the case.
Okay, rest of you have not answered. So you send a message to somebody and that somebody does not respond. What does that mean?
Either the person is not interested in that, or he doesn't feel that it is not that important, Prabhuji.
All right, everybody, I want to hear from every one of you, 100%.
Prabhuji, for me as well, if I will feel they are not interested.
All right. I said unmute to everybody, only few have unmuted.
Hare Krishna,
So
Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Brijesh Prabhu, go ahead.
I feel either they are too busy or not interested.
All right. Rest of you?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think it will feel like they are not interested.
Okay.
Prabhuji, it will be like it's not the priority. Like what we are saying is not their priority.
All right, very good.
Maybe they did not understand the message. What the
Okay,
message.
so inquire. Okay, Diksha wanted to say something.
Prabhuji, I would feel disrespected if somebody does not reply to my message.
Okay, very good. Who has not answered?
Prabhuji, the same as everyone said, not interested.
Okay. Who is left to answer?
Prabhuji, same, like not interested and caught up in material work.
Okay, so what did my last message in the WhatsApp group say? Who wants to read? What it was one line message besides the Zoom link and everything. What did my message say to you? Who wants to read the message from the last WhatsApp group message? Somebody?
It said, if you did not complete spiritual endeavor, please connect with me at your earliest.
Right. So many of you choose not to connect with me. No, you didn't respond. You didn't get the record, the lectures. You didn't complete the spiritual endeavor. So what do you want me to do here? So we discuss attitude is very important. So many of you did respond that either the receiver of the message is not interested. So ask yourself, those of you who didn't respond, who didn't get either of the lectures, at least actually one devotee said, give me both. I said, no, listen to one. I only sent one because the Srimad Bhagavatam lecture definitely was very heavy. For those who listen to it can vouch for that. So what do you want me to do here? Do you want me to remind you or not? So many of you said disrespect or not interested or busy, not a priority. So is this your priority? All these points, are they applicable to you or not? What do you want me to do? You've taken this for granted. Well, then why do you want me to push you? I want to hear from everyone. So could be difficult for you to unmute and respond. By all means, you can write a personal chat in the Zoom or can write a direct message that what do you want me to do here? Do you want me to remind you or not? I didn't send an individual message to each one of you. It was there in the WhatsApp group. All of you are in the group. So clearly said at the very top in bold that you need to complete your spiritual endeavor. And some of you have a concession. Well, the concession is not permanent. The concession is that, okay, you are busy and you cannot complete the spiritual endeavor by the deadline. Okay, do your best to complete it as soon as possible, or at least on a go forward basis, try to get back on track. So you cannot take concession forever. This is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, that Srila Narad Muni, the spiritual master of Srila Vyasadeva, chastised Srila Vyasadeva so badly with the word Jugupsitam that verily condemned that why did Srila Vyasadeva write Vedas? Because Srila Vyasadeva gave concessions and prohibitions. People ignored the prohibitions and took the concessions, and they thought they were doing spirituality. It seemed like, all right. Okay. So understand that what I have stated at the start of Nectar of Instruction, and I'll repeat, that for Nectar of Instruction, I am not explaining each and every point in the text and the purports. I am leaving some points for you to read and find out and inquire. So it's very important that after every class, you complete the spiritual endeavors such as provide striking points and inquiries, listen to the other lectures that I'm stating, and listen to or memorize the verses. So every class we also have memorization. So you need to follow. Our goal is not to just put a tick mark on a Saturday, Sunday that, okay, I attended spiritual classes. No, our goal is to remember Krishna 24 hours. So many of you have developed this wrong attitude. It's a good time to correct now before it becomes a pandemic for yourself. You are welcome to connect with me offline if you feel that will be helpful for you. Okay, let's discuss Nectar of Instruction, text number 1. So I will speak what is in the purport. I will deliberately not explain everything from Nectar of Instruction text, just so that you all have an opportunity to read Nectar of Instruction book for your spiritual endeavor, and you provide striking points and make inquiries. In text number 1, there are 4 key points. First is Guru's qualification. Second, atonement. Third, urges. So Srila Prabhupada has purports, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also has purports on these urges. And the 4th point is, you can serve only one master, either your senses or Krishna. So text number 1, focus is on the body. Controlling urges applies to all. So text number 1, you can say the title of the text or the theme of the text is controlling the 6 bodily urges of speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals. So text number 1 is obviously a key memorization text. The first 4 texts are key memorization text. So I will recite the Sanskrit, and then you can unmute and recite one line after me, please. And this memorization of text number 1 will be your spiritual endeavor for today also, together with other spiritual endeavors. So I will first recite text number 1. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jivva vegam udara upastha vegam etan vegam yo visheta dhira sarvam apimam prithvim sashishyat. Everybody unmute yourself and recite one line after me, please. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam
Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam
jivva vegam udara upastha vegam
Jiva vegam udara upastha vegam
etan vegam yo visheta dhira
Etan vegan yogishata dira
sarvam apimam prithvim sashishyat
Sarvam apimam prithvim sashishyat.
Chaitanya Prabhu, translation.
Hare Krishna. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Hare Krishna.
So Rupa Goswami starts with the word Vega. Vega means urge or urgency or speed. So what is the difference between desire and urge? Can somebody think of? What is the difference between desire and urge? Sumnima?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. May I?
Sumnima?
Prabhuji, maybe urge is urgent and
Okay.
desire is longer over the time.
Okay, Brijesh Prabhu.
Yes, same Prabhu. Like when you desire something, it is not immediate, but urge is like as soon as possible.
Okay, Meghna, Samant.
I was thinking urge is a result of a desire.
All right. Okay. Matan Prabhu.
Urge means something that cannot be controlled. Desire can be postponed.
Okay, very good. So correct answers. So urge is urgent, which makes us to act immediately, which demands that it should be fulfilled right now, right now. Speedy demand has to be fulfilled right now, right now. Desire is something we may want to do, but we can do it in future. Example, say I have a desire to see Himalayas, or I have a desire to see Niagara Falls, etc. So they are desires, they are idle desires. I don't have to take a flight to Himalayas right now. Whenever possible, I will do it. So these 6 kinds of urges, they are urges. They are vegam. They are right now, right now. So what are the 6 urges? First is speech, mind, anger, tongue. Tongue has two components. One is the eating and the speaking. And 5th is belly. And 6th is genitals. So a person who tolerates these 6 urges, such a person is qualified to be a guru. Controlling the senses is a qualification to become a guru. So here's a question for you all. That nectar of instruction is for a disciple. So why does text number 1 start with a qualification of a guru? Can somebody think of?
Prabhuji, maybe for us to be a good disciple, we need to understand the qualities of a guru.
Okay, very good. Meghna, Saman.
But also, I think the guru used to be a disciple first.
Okay, very good. Correct. Again, correct point. So both correct points. Priyanka?
Prabhuji, we read in the purport that Vaishnavas are also called Goswamis. So that also constitutes to be a guru.
Okay, very good. So yes, correct points. That the reason is why text number 1 starts with the qualification of a guru. The reason is the seeker or a disciple has to find a guru. Therefore, he should know the qualifications and able to judge a guru. Guru's regulative qualifications are ability to control senses and conquer the mind, plus the positive qualifications of being attached to Krishna. And the second reason is that the seeker needs to become a seer, hence needs to know the qualifications he needs to acquire to become a proper disciple and then go on to become a guru. This is the direction for the seeker. Detachment from the world and capability to control the urges of the body and the mind, which make us attached to the world, are important qualifications of a bhakta. Srila Rupa Goswami first talks about how to control the negative side of the bhakti. The negative side of our own life means our mind and senses and all these urges. And then Srila Rupa Goswami will talk about how to nourish the positive side of bhakti. Everybody on the same page with the first point about Guru's qualification? The second
Hare
point,
Krishna Prabhuji.
Gulshan, go ahead.
Can you please repeat the line where you said the seeker needs to be a seer?
So the reason why the Guru's qualification are there at the very start of Nectar of Instruction is that the seeker, so we all as disciples are seekers, the seeker needs to become a seer, hence needs to know what are the qualification he needs to acquire. So we need to first be able to see a guru, and then we need to follow the same processes, have our mind and senses in control, so that we can go on to become a guru. So we know what is going to be our future. Gulshan?
Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay. So the second point is on atonement. So question is, what makes one have uncontrolled senses? And the other question is, what can help to control the senses? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, Parikshit Maharaj asks, how can people give up sinful activities? So this conversation about Parikshit Maharaj and the atonement is there in the Nectar of Instruction purport at the very first 2 pages. Now, some may say to do atonement, but atonement does not work. And analogies are described in the purport. Analogies of atonement without controlling senses. Example, criminals come out of the jail and they commit the crime again. We hear in the news so many times that some criminal was out on bail and he commits the same crime again multiple times. You have to realize that sending the criminal to jail is not working at all. Another example is given that elephant takes a bath in the river and then comes out and again rolls in the mud. What was the purpose of cleaning yourself in the river? And another example is given about Christians. They confess that I did so and please ask me or please forgive me. Now about Christians confessing, this advanced confession means some people, they confess before committing a crime. They confess, oh, I am going to commit this crime, so my Lord, please forgive me. And Prabhupada says in the purport that this advanced confession is a mockery of confession, because the person has no interest of reformation at all. So atonement does not work because one does not lose the sinful mentality, because one is still thinking, I am independent of God. One who knows I am a soul but he still does not connect with God to get the higher taste. Then the question becomes, okay, then what is the way out? The answer is real atonement is awakening of the dormant Krishna consciousness. Therefore, atonement is the first point discussed at the start of Nectar of Instruction. That the devotee has to change the attitude first. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? So right now we'll skip the reading of the purport. Nectar of Instruction, pages number 2 and 3, describe the same points about atonement, some of which I have discussed. So the way out is to practice devotional service. Real atonement is awakening the dormant Krishna consciousness. So training according to regulative principles to revive our original pure nature. That should be our approach. Without reviving our original pure nature, we simply would jump from one impurity to another impurity, means move from impurity of passion and ignorance to impurity of goodness. Doesn't do anything. When we return to our natural state of serving Krishna, then we actually become purified. Then we'll be able to control senses, lose our sinful mentality. This is real atonement. So returning to our original natural state, there are two ways one can follow. One is the traditional tapasya, which involves 7 points. One is doing austerity. Second is celibacy. Celibacy does not mean renouncing family, but family life according to dharmic principles. Then third is mind and sense control. And it is better to have your mind controlled rather than living with an uncontrolled mind. So it is better to control the mind itself so that the senses do not get stimulated. Hence, there'll be no need to worry about controlling the senses. The fourth point is being truthful. Fifth is renunciation. Sixth is cleanliness. And seventh is the various yoga asanas, such as practice of rules and regulations of yoga. And the other way is the Pancharatrika Tapasya, means devotional activities. So traditional tapasya, the 6 items or the 7 items that I described, they are gradually purifying processes. So tapasya means one who resists the urges. The second way of following devotional activities are more potent and easier to follow because you are engaging your senses in the service. And the 7 points of traditional tapasya that I described, they can be conducive for bhakti. It's not can, they are conducive for bhakti. So yes, we all should do those 7 items also of austerity, celibacy, mind and sense control, truthful, renunciation, cleanliness, and follow the rules and regulations. So as devotees, we need to follow these principles also because they help in devotional service also. Any questions, comments, realization on the second point of atonement? The third point is the urges. So first says vacho vegam, means the urge to speak. Trying to control the senses is nearly impossible. So what's the solution? Solution is to rise to higher level of taste. Karmis and Gyanis, they speak things which are not connected with Krishna. Is like a toad inviting a snake. Such prajalpa, chit-chat, gossip is undesirable, and we get so absorbed in it. The time just flies away. Example, you start watching television, one program after another, or you are talking with somebody, you are doing prajalpa, chit chat and gossip. I request all of you to look up your phone data, that how much time you are spending on the phone with others doing gossip. You are not talking Krishna Katha. Look for yourself. The point is, we waste so much time without realizing that the problem is with this engagement. We are tempted to speak. If we are not glorifying the Lord, that means we are dying every day. So what's the solution to controlling speech? The solution is not silence, but Krishna Katha is the solution. We cannot stay silent for very long. If we don't dovetail that natural urge, then we will feel suppressed. If we suppress for too long, it expresses itself in ugly ways. Therefore, spiritualize our urge to speak by speaking about Krishna. By speaking about Krishna, it purifies us, purifies one who hears, and everyone around. So every opportunity to speak about Krishna, formally or informally, takes us closer to Krishna. The same tongue that is poisonous, which attracts death, can be used to spread Krishna's name and glory and attract Krishna. Krishna is pleased that devotee is talking about me, sharing my message. And Krishna has said this in Bhagavad Gita 18.68 and 69, that one who shares the message of Krishna with others is very dear to Krishna. And pure devotional service is guaranteed to such a devotee. So the very thing, meaning our tongue, that is the cause of bondage, can become the cause of our liberation also. Questions, comments, realizations? The next item is mind, manasavegam, the urge of the mind. Mind is more active than the senses. One thought after another. Mind runs faster than the speed of light. Mind cannot be inactive because mind's nature is to be always active. It's not just active, it's hyperactive. Mind has to think about something. Thinking cannot be stopped, cannot freeze the mind. So the best thing to do for the mind is to give the mind a safe playing activity of Krishna conscious activities. Example, child cannot be silent or inactive. May start playing with some danger. Therefore, give the child a toy to keep him engaged. So chanting, meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna means serving Krishna. Meditating and service is not a mechanical process. We have to fill the mind with Krishna. How to direct mind to Krishna is the question. The answer is each one of us have to find out for ourselves what works for us. Example, some may find by studying scriptures, you are able to direct the mind to Krishna. By understanding this philosophy, my mind becomes steady and fixed. Some may find by worshipping Gopinath, doing the personal puja, etc., gives me a lot of strength. Or by singing bhajans, kirtan, or by dancing, or association of a particular devotee gives me a lot of strength. So you have to find out for yourself what works best for you. You don't have to take others' ways and apply for yourself. No, do what works best for you and continue to do it for yourself. The third item is Krodha Vegam, means the urge of anger. Srila Prabhupada says, anger cannot be stopped. And the solution is to use anger against blasphemy of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. In scriptures, there are very few examples given of those who have used anger in service. The example of Jagai Madai. Of course, it is more about Nityanand and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then another example is of Arjuna, and another example is Hanuman. So the above three examples are almost all the examples you can find in scriptures on anger. Meaning, scriptures are saying to stay away from anger. Committing offenses against devotees in anger can be very dangerous. So the question about using anger in service, anger can be expressed in devotional service, but in a very regulated way, but be very, very careful. For anger, best is not to express at all, but highlight the issue to a senior devotee. Now, I said the solution is to use anger against blasphemers. It is very important to understand that do not find ways to use your anger. But you should focus on how to control anger and focus on how not to use anger. Because there is a very fine line in deciding whether I am using anger in Krishna's service or whether anger is using me in Maya's service. It was very, very important. I'll repeat this line. There's a very fine line in deciding whether I am using anger in Krishna's service or whether anger is using me in Maya's service. So the question becomes, how to know the difference? The answer is, first is motivation and second is the effect. First, motivation, that when something goes wrong, our anger is not because Krishna's service got affected, but our anger is that my good name will be spoiled. If our motivation is not pure, anger can be very dangerous. Therefore, avoid anger. And the second is the effect. It depends on the nature of relationship with the person and the situation in which I became angry. So even if my motivation is pure, but relationship is very important because other person may not be able to take the anger and other person's spiritual life may be shattered. Therefore, you should be extremely careful with anger. Now, taking a firm stand or speaking assertively, that is not becoming angry. If you are always kind and gentle, people will start pushing you around and not taking you seriously. But when you have a firm stand, the important point is that we are in control. But when you become angry, then anger is in control. That's what you are supposed to avoid. That anger should not be in control. When anger is in control, we lose awareness of what we are speaking and we end up blasting others. In conclusion, if we lose control, means we are not using anger in Krishna's service. Rather, anger is using us in Maya's service. Therefore, a general principle for devotees should be to not become angry. Now, this very important question about what does directing anger against blasphemers mean? The answer is, it does not mean we speak all sorts of abusive words and abusive language against the blasphemers or go finding blasphemers to use our anger. No. What the proper approach of using anger against blasphemers is that we, in an intelligent way, refute their misconceptions by staying in control. And we are aware of what we are doing and what we are talking. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 2 to 7, the first unit, is on Daksha Yajna and as his envy, Daksha's envy against Lord Shiva. So Daksha is father-in-law of Shiva, and Daksha is holding a yajna and he is insulting Lord Shiva. So the followers of Shiva ended up cursing the other side, meaning the supporters of Daksha, and then the supporters of Daksha ended up counter cursing the followers of Shiva. That was absolutely not required. That example from Canto 4 of curses and counter curses is a negative example to show what not to do. Bottom line for anger, stay away from anger. Do not find ways to use our anger. Simply stay away from anger. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Now, next item is Jiva Vegam, is the tongue. So the urge of the tongue to eat. The tongue is the most voracious part of our body. To control the senses means control starts from the tongue. So this Jiva Vegam and the belly discussion will flow together. The Jiva Vegam refers to taste, that I want to eat lot of variety. And Udara Vegam refers to quantity, that eat more than what my body needs. People are controlled by their tongue. They are forced to eat in karmi shops, or even some devotees also do it. What's the solution to control the tongue? Solution is Krishna Prasad. Take Prasad as Krishna's mercy and take Prasad at scheduled times. So ability to diet is not a spiritual activity. Ability to diet is valuable and essential for steady spiritual advancement. Prasad is purifying, but to become attached to always eat more and opulent prasad, this can also be entangling. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, don't eat opulent prasad, don't dress very richly. Means don't eat opulent prasad on a regular basis, but it is okay to eat feast on special occasions. Now, here's very important to understand that we should not judge a devotee on how much prasad the devotee is taking, because everyone is different on what is appropriate quantity for each one of us. So, Udara Vegam does not mean sticking to a fixed quantity, but what is required and may vary. Now, Jiva Vegam, there are three things to control. One is regulation of variety, regulation of quantity, and regulation of frequency. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? And then it is Upasta Vegam, means the genitals. The Vedic scriptures do not reject sex because new life comes to this world. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am sex life that is not contrary to religious principles. So the focus is to maintain spiritual vision and doing things for the purpose for which they are meant. It means this activity has a purpose and act according to this purpose. Meaning, should engage in sexual relationship with your married spouse only to have Krishna conscious child or children and not for sense enjoyment at all. So these are all the points from Prabhupada's purports on the 6 urges. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations. Now, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also provides in the purport the details for these same 6 urges. It's just that these urges are grouped differently. They are essentially the same. They are just grouped differently. So what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has done is the urges he has labeled: first is speech, second is mind, and in mind includes the anger, and the third is body, where he has listed tongue, belly, and genitals under the heading of body, because the tongue, the belly, and the genitals are connected in a straight line in a body. So these 3 correlate with the 3 aspects with which we are meant to serve Krishna, meaning the speech, mind, and the body. So first is the Vachovegam, in the speech. Is again the prajalpa of the karmis and the jnanis and the karmakandiyas. So just because somebody is coming to the temple does not make him a devotee by itself. No, if you are engaging in prajalpa, for 23 hours from the 24 hours, well, you are a karmi. So all these magazines, newspapers, discussion channels, these social media, they are unlimited social media, every day new social media pops up. All are leading to prajalpa because they are based on mundane talk, including this WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever social media you follow. So devotees don't have to ignore worldly things. But generally, worldly news is not really new. News is the same thing happening to new people. If you actually follow the news, it's either a disaster or there is an accident or there is a crime or there is something in the politics or traffic or weather. Every day you hear the exact same thing happening to new people. That is news. So what value does it have? Nothing. So devotees should be aware of basic things. But beyond that, should be aware of our true self. Now, all this information gathered in the material world is actually information overload and is useless because such information collected, the overload of information collected has no function. Therefore, these media people, they create a function of such information by creating quiz on historical sports data or quiz on film stars' life and family. It has no meaning. So what's the solution? The solution is Krishna Katha. If one has information seeking mentality, well, seek it in scriptures. Scriptural information is meant to transform. That you seek and apply scriptures to become a better human and better devotee. Scriptural information is like a doctor's prescription. Doctor's prescription is not just information. No, it is there to cure. So scriptures are a cure to make us a better human being. I have a question for you all. When you hear news, generally some news comes up with a very alarming tone or some background music. Has anybody heard that? What am I referring to?
Yes, Prabhu.
What am I referring to?
Like the breaking news, some music in the background.
Yeah, breaking news. Very good. So I'm gonna bring up on screen my spiritual master's short video clip. And lower your volume at your end a little. At the start, the volume seems a little high. So I will bring up on screen and I will play this clip. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshika Das Adhikari. Let's hear from him.
Here's some breaking news. Stop watching breaking news. What is it? Breaking news is news that breaks your concentration from everything that's important in your life. It also breaks your heart. There's only so much shocking information that a simple human being can take in and survive emotionally in life. It's not necessary. The ancient sage Sanatana Goswami used to say, don't take teachings from someone who's motivated by profit. If they're trying to make money on you by giving you information, it means that the information is contaminated. Don't take it in. Here's what I do. I don't listen to the 24-hour news cycle. I avoid it. I watch other things that are positive. And here's what happens. Anything I need to know comes to my attention on the street. If it rises to a high enough threshold, someone will tell me about a world event that I really need to know about. 99% of breaking news is not only unnecessary, it's very disturbing. But we needn't give up hearing altogether. There are fantastical stories in the ancient Vedic wisdom literatures, like Mahabharata. The Bhagavad Gita took place on a battlefield, one of the greatest battles of all time, and during the fight, the greatest teachings of all time, the yoga teachings, were given from Krishna to Arjuna. Similarly, the Srimad Bhagavatam gives wonderful stories from the history of the world and infuses it with spiritual knowledge. We can transfer our attention from the sensationalized to that information that's altogether interesting but transformational. This is the process of Bhakti Yoga. Try tuning out the breaking news cycle for 1 month and tune in to spiritual literature and see how your mind becomes purified, happy, and also entertained. Let me know. Write to me and tell me, what kinds of literatures are you listening to that are enriching your mind and bringing you to a higher spiritual level?
License registration, please.
Okay, what did he explain? Somebody?
That breaking news is always disturbing.
Very good. What else?
And those news are not necessary or needed at all. And if it's important, we do get it.
Yeah.
So it's better to ignore it altogether.
Very good. What else?
Prabhuji, after reading and hearing all this, we are very disturbed. Better read Krishna Katha so that we can come to know something which is very important for us.
Yeah, very good. Solution. He also gave the solution. Okay, very good. That read Krishna Katha. Very good. What else?
If information is coming at the stake of somebody else getting profited, that means it's contaminated.
Very good. So on a go forward basis, just cut off this social media, cut off this news. One of the devotee who is present among us virtually right now asked me one time that how am I staying current on everything? And my response was exactly what my spiritual master said. Well, if it is a high threshold event, somehow I will come to know about it. And news is what? New thing happening to different people. Sorry, same thing happening to new people. That is news. It isn't any new. The same thing that you hear. Now, if you wanna follow this, you hear the news for a day or two, you will say, wait a minute, I already heard this yesterday, that there was some natural calamity, there was some accident, there was this traffic issue, some politics. Already there yesterday is now happening to new people today. That is news. And towards the end, my spiritual master said, write to me. So I recommend, I don't force anyone. I recommend you to write to my spiritual master. Many devotees from previous batches have done this. They are not disciples of the spiritual master. Doesn't matter. My spiritual master will respond, not necessarily immediately. But there was his website, or you can also go look up and write a message to him. Try connecting with him and see how your life gets transformed. Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, where can we write?
So you can go my spiritual masters on the video. There was vaisheshikadasa.com.
Okay.
Or my spiritual masters website is fanthespark.com. I will put it in the chat right now.
Okay, thank you.
Fanthespark.com. I put it in the chat. And somewhere it should allow you to write. You can message that you heard this short clip in our classes. He of course knows about it. You can try connecting with him.
So Prabhuji, we can like write about any queries about spiritual life, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, understand that he may not respond immediately because it travels a lot. So right now he's traveling to Vrindavan and Puri. He just landed, I think, a day or two ago. So he does travel a lot, but at some point of time, he may respond to you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. So now, Meghna Saman.
Just from a medical perspective, I was just trying to understand, the balance between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems, and how a lot of teaching is towards focusing on staying calm and not getting disturbed, and how to focus on your parasympathetic rather than being driven by the sympathetic nervous system all the time.
Yeah. All the nervous means the senses. They by default, if they are not purified, they are going to agitate you more. Okay, very good. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's next point about the urges is manasavegam, means the urge of the mind. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur classifies urge of the mind in 2 ways, 2 points. One is unrestricted attachment, and the second is anger due to frustration. Plus, this krodh or anger is part of manasavegam. So analyze your past anger. I'm pretty sure all of us have become angry at some point of time. So analyze your past anger. You will be able to see that it was due to some frustration, due to some unrestricted attachment. And my expectation was too high, resulting in frustration and anger. To control anger, should not become angry to begin with. Plus, we have to also decrease our expectations. And the third Vega that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur categorizes is Jiva Udara Upastha Vegam, that the urge of the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. So these three, the tongue, the belly, and the genitals, are physically in one line in our body, means there is a connection between them. We already discussed the points about these. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has similar points in the purport. He just has grouped them together. So the tongue, that those who control the tongue find that the senses come under control without much difficulty, because it spreads the control all over the body. So start by tongue, that eat always prasad, talk always Krishna Katha, stop your prajalpa. I request all of you to look at your phone history. At least a couple of devotees have had offline conversation about prajalpa with me. look at your phone history. In the material world, this phone industry makes billions of dollars of money every year because people are engaged in prajalpa. Well, you can stop it. You can stop contamination from this point on. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations on the third point about these urges from text number 1. The fourth and the last point in text number 1 is that you can serve only one master, either your senses or Krishna, not both. There is no third choice. So each one of us have to decide whether I will be servant of body and senses or I will be master of my body and senses. Servant of the body means we pander to the body's demands. Master of the body means we use the body for its purpose. Master of the body, but you can still be servant of Krishna. The more one is master of the body, you can become a better servant of Krishna. So you become a better servant of Krishna. The default setting, the default programs are stored in our mind, just as the default settings on a new device. Say when you buy a new device has a default ringtone. Similarly, there are default settings in our body which are like gravity pulling down towards sense enjoyment, towards sense objects. That's the default setting in our body. So giving in to the mind and senses desires has been the default option we have chosen for a very long time. Therefore, it seems that to control the mind and senses is very difficult. Plus, for those of you who got the recording from me about Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, about how creation happened, where the discussion is that our body is largely made out of ignorance. After I finish the discussion, I will let some of you to speak on those for some points from that Srimad Bhagavatam lecture, if you are able to. So devotee has to take care of his body so that he can serve Krishna properly. But devotee does not have to succumb to the body's lower desires of wanting to enjoy at the sensual level. So Srila Prabhupada's conclusion and essential theme of Nectar of Instruction is that we can serve only one master, either your senses or Krishna. You cannot serve both, and there is no third choice. So Godas means servant of senses, and Goswami means master of senses. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, verse number 30 is titled as Chewing the Chewed, means person engages again in the same sense gratification again and again that we all have been engaged in for life after life after life since 155 trillion years in this cycle of creation, but does not learn anything about higher taste. This is chewing the chewed. By doing the same sense gratification and not utilizing the human form of life for experiencing higher taste, which is not possible in other life forms, we are misusing the human life form. We all have attachments So what is the solution? Solution is attachment should not cross dharma. If you follow regulative principles, attachments will stay in control. Even if material attachments are too strong, still continue devotional service, because only by devotional service we will gain higher taste, and the byproduct will be we will lose the lower taste of wanting to enjoy at the bodily sensual level, and we will lose the material attachment also. So we have thus completed text number 1. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations. For those of you who heard the Srimad Bhagavatam lecture on Canto 3, Chapter 5 on primary creation, anybody wants to share something from there? Anybody? Okay, there's no pressure. All right. So, spiritual endeavor for today. I'm hoping I will not have to repeat my conversation at the start that some of you did not do spiritual endeavors and still did not follow through on my message. I request everyone to please endeavor on the spiritual endeavor, because I am not speaking everything from the Nectar of Instruction text. I am speaking key points and I'm leaving rest for you to read. So, and somebody will again repeat. So standard homework. So number 1, standard spiritual endeavor for all classes without me stating is to read the purports of all the verses we have covered. So today we covered text number 1. Read text number 1. Second, by end of day Wednesday, all of you on a Google form, the link that I will post in the WhatsApp, you will explain 1 or more striking points and 1 or more inquiries. Understand that I have deliberately not explained everything from the Nectar of Instruction text, just so that you all have an opportunity to read Nectar of Instruction book for your spiritual endeavor and to provide striking point and make inquiries. As I have explained, that don't be fooled that Nectar of Instruction is a very tiny book, may take just 15 minutes. No, you will need a lot more time to read Nectar of Instruction book, because each statement is concentrated and you will have to think and contemplate on all those statements in Nectar of Instruction. The third point, I will right now post on the chat Krishna book chapter number 60. I will post that in the chat. You read this chapter number 60 from Krishna book, which is titled Talks Between Krishna and Rukmani, and you find realizations and discussion about senses from this Krishna book, chapter number 60. And similarly, number 4 spiritual endeavor is find realization and discussion about senses from Krishna book, chapter number 72. Chapter 72 is liberation of King Jarasandha. So I'm going to post those 2 documents in the chat right now. If you have Krishna book, by all means, you can just read directly from the book. So I send that in the chat. And the 5th spiritual endeavor is your memorization. So last time you had 3 verses to memorize: 1.1, 2.7, 2.13. And now you can add to that list. So you keep adding. So now you will memorize 2.47, 2.54, 2.62, plus you will memorize Nectar of Instruction, text number 1. I am pretty sure you have more than enough spiritual endeavor to keep you occupied throughout your entire week, and by that it will become a default to get out of your prajalpa if you are engaging in prajalpa. I want somebody to please repeat the spiritual endeavors, and then I will pause here if about the question about is this enough, more, less spiritual endeavors. Somebody wants to repeat the spiritual endeavor?
Prabhuji, should I?
Yeah, Sundima, go ahead.
So first one is read purport from text 1. Second is 1 striking point and 1 inquiry. Third is Krishna book chapter 60, talk between Krishna and Rukmini and find about senses. Fourth one is find realization and discussions on senses from Krishna book chapter 72. And the last one is memorization 2.47, 2.52, 2.62, and Nectar of Instruction text 1.
Okay, so I will repeat number 5, the verses you are supposed to memorize. It is 2.47, 2.54, 2.62, and Nectar of Instruction text number 1. I want everyone to explain or provide your feedback about the spiritual endeavor. Is this spiritual endeavor less, more, enough to keep you occupied for the whole week? Meghna Samant.
I am a slow memorizer. Would it please be possible to give 2 verses for memorizing rather than 4?
Yeah, you can memorize what works for you. So I'm not saying everyone is at the same level. Work what works for you and keep memorizing little by little. I'm not holding anybody with a stick here that, no, why you didn't do. I'm not going to say that. So memorize what works best for you. And it's okay to be a slow memorizer. Don't worry about that at all. Meghna?
Okay.
To understand, this memorization will continue forever. I'm just giving, okay, these are the verses you memorize. Possible that by the time we complete Nectar of Instruction, you may not have yet memorized all. Just continue that endeavor as and when possible. Meghna?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Rest of you, I want to hear from everyone. Does this endeavor going to keep you out of Prajalpa?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, it will.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, when you read the Krishna book, chapter 60 titled Talks Between Krishna and Rukmani, and chapter 72 titled The Liberation of King Jarasandha, you will come back with this realization. Were you able to control your mind and senses and not indulge in Prajalpa? At your next class, bring those realizations. And those of you who have not heard the Bhagavatam lecture on Canto 3, Chapter 5, listen to that. You will realize that how our body and senses are largely made out of ignorance. That is, therefore, it is very difficult to control the mind and senses, and therefore we need a spiritual master to guide us and take us to the proper path. I want to also hear from all of you about the pace. I am not going at super fast pace. Is this pace reasonable?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji,
Yes,
this is good.
Prabhuji.
All right. I don't have anything more to discuss today. The text number 2, we will start on a fresh next class. Can use the time for any inquiries you may have. If not, are we okay to stop here?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.